Hi, I'm Liselle Sambury and welcome back to my channel where I talk about all things writing, traditional publishing, and a little bit of reading. And this is a bit of a different video. So what this is it's actually a compilation of a video series that I've been doing on TikTok, where every day that I work on it, I'm basically documenting how the drafting process goes for writing the second book in my new YA Dark Academia fantasy series, whose first book, A Mastery of Monsters, comes out in summer of 2025. And so every day I work on the book, I do one of these updates and I post it on TikTok. And so I created this compilation sort of video series here on YouTube to basically batch together each week's video into one YouTube video, just because the videos are kind of like, they're too long for YouTube Shorts, but they're also a little too short for me to want to post them every day on YouTube. And so for those of you that like my YouTube channel and you aren't really fans of TikTok, that's basically what these videos are. It's just all the videos for that week packed into one, so that you can watch this every week and you can kind of see the whole kind of videos for the week. I am still going to be doing my monthly writing vlogs, so you'll still see those, and those really include like other facets of my life and like b-roll and that sort of thing, whereas these are like very pointed, basically only about drafting this specific book. So without further ado, I will let you enjoy the compilation, and you may notice that this intro is the same for every compilation video. That's because I just wanted to do one intro that I can use for all of the compilation videos going forward. And of course, I will also put them in a playlist, which I have linked down below, so that as the series goes on, if you missed anything and there's a few videos, you can just watch the whole playlist of the compilation. And today I wrote perhaps what is the worst chapter I've written in this entire book. Just bad. Just like, this is one of those chapters where I finished and I was like, oh, this is just hot garbage, just terrible. Yeah, this is where I'm like, yeah, having a plan is really helpful, because I'm basically now at the big boss fight of the chapter. So it's from the main POV. We're doing the big boss fight, and they gotta like make their way there, and then they gotta do the confrontation, and then the fight kind of kicks off. And I just truly just like didn't know what was going on. They like start in one location and I was like, okay, I need to get them to like leave to go somewhere. But then I was like, oh, they need some sort of obstacle. So then I like threw in a monster for them to fight, and it just like, it so feels just thrown in. And then like somebody else comes, the other POV character comes in, and like I realized that I was supposed to be doing like a very specific fight for that side character as like part of her arc that I've now fixed. And so then I was like, oh right, I have to throw that in. So then I threw that in, and it's just like, we're just moving from location to location with like slightly interesting roadblocks that are perhaps actually not that interesting at all. And then I got to the main fight, and then I realized that there was like something I kind of need to explain, but then I couldn't quite figure out how to explain it, because I realized that I really dropped off on like a mystery element that would have like made some things more clear. So then I dropped in something as if I had talked about it previously in the book, which I haven't. And then they just kick off the fight, and this isn't originally how I planned for the fight to go. So I'm also just kind of like, just don't know what I'm doing. So kick off that fight, and I was like, I don't know if any of this makes sense. I'm just doing stuff. I was like, I don't know, I have to write a chapter. So I gotta do something. I gotta make the fight work somehow. But yeah, I don't think it's great for a big boss fight. I feel like some of the like match fights done were like more interesting than this big boss fight, and I feel like that's a problem. But yeah, at this point it's a problem for future Liselle, because it's just, everything is too messy at this point and I just can't fix stuff. So it's just kind of like, it is what it is, and I will go back and I will revamp things. I will put things together more coherently once I edit, but for now it's just like, yeah, it's a big hot mess. But I'm gunning towards the end. This is the last week of drafting. I will be finishing this draft by the end of this week. So I'm just in a keep chugging sort of mood, sort of mindset, even if it's hot trash. But I can say on a positive note that like it took me getting all the way from how many chapters from the end of mine? 4 chapters from the end to have a chapter that I truly believe is fully hot garbage. And that's pretty good. I've been overall pleased with everything else I've written. So that's a bonus. And I will see you again tomorrow. And today was a short chapter. And it was a short chapter, I think, for a variety of reasons. So as I get closer to the end of the book, I do find that my chapters tend to get shorter, possibly because I'm so close to the finish, I just want to like get things done. But I also think in this case, because I'm going without a plan, and flying by the seat of my pants, and I don't quite know what I'm doing, so I don't have a lot of plans going into each chapter, and so they're becoming more simplistic, and therefore taking less words because I'm not doing all these different things in the chapter because I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing in the chapter. But this was from the second POV. Again, more POV switches towards this ending bit, partially also because they're fighting in 2 different locations. And so I kind of like need the POV switch to make sure that you know what's happening in different spots. Yeah, second POV, they're doing a big fight thing that they're having to deal with. And that's pretty much like the whole chapter. Because I was like, I don't know what else is in here, but I know that side character, I needed her, like, this whole fight is like part of the ending of her arc, and so I needed that to happen. And so it was really just for that character to like observe her doing it and like participate in the fight, and so they basically do that, and that's kind of all that happens, because yeah, I truly just didn't know what else to do in that chapter. Even when I went to like write it today, I was kind of like, is this like a chapter that's necessary? But it is necessary because of that character's arc. And I need that fight to happen for that reason. So I had to just do that. There was also one thing that's like kind of like plot related that I did also need to happen. So I needed to put that in that little section. So yeah, but I'm closing in to the end, which is exciting. I've also like had a little bit of like thoughts about the main character's journey, which I kind of have been shifting and changing as I've been going through the book. I think I wanted to do something kind of different with her arc, but then I realized it wasn't quite working. But I feel like now things have come around and I feel a little bit more solidified on how things are going to go forward. But yeah, this is pretty much a short update because it was a short chapter with not a lot going on, just kind of fighting. But I'm excited because the next chapter is going to be like the actual kind of like conclusion, I would say. That is it? Yes. The kind of like conclusion chapter, basically. And it's kind of like, I guess like it's like a little, it's kind of like a cliffhanger. So that, and then I have a wrap-up chapter from the second POV, though I don't know, now I'm kind of wondering if I need the second POV. Yeah, I kind of need something to wrap up the second POV. So then like a second POV kind of quick wrap-up chapter, I guess, and then an epilogue. But I don't know. I feel like that second POV chapter and the wrap-up chapter are probably both going to be like not that long at all. They're probably going to be like 500 words. I just don't think I have a lot to go on with them. So really the next chapter is like pretty much the final chapter. So yeah, we will see. And it's finished. It's finished. I am done. I have the final word count up above, which is 115,000. So 5,000 less than I thought it might be. So that's great. Happy with that. But yeah, just finished. And really what it was is I knew that I had the final like full-length chapter, and then I knew that I had like 2 chapters that were basically like together they'd each be roughly 1,000 words, so they'd be the length of one chapter. I realized I could just do everything today and give myself a nice 4-day weekend to rest and relax before I get start into edits next week. And so I decided that I just wanted to do that. I just wanted to do that and just get it done. So I did it. We had the final epic boss battle fight, and I ended it in a way that I was like, I hadn't quite originally anticipated, but it actually did make a lot of sense character-wise to do it that way. And it doesn't mean that the book ends on like a bit of a sad note, certainly. A sadder note than I'd even originally planned, certainly, but I feel like it's a good way to end a second book and like get ready to go into a third book. I feel like it's a good trilogy setup, so I'm happy with that. And then I did a chapter from the second POV just to get like a rounded out chapter for her. And then lastly, I did the epilogue. The way I have been doing the epilogues for the series is they've not been from either POV that's in the book, from like a different separate character POV. And so I did that. I'm not sure about the balance yet. Like I revealed some stuff, but I'm wondering if I revealed too many things. And so that's something I'm gonna have to figure out in editing, like how much I want to actually get revealed. But yeah, it is completed. I have a first draft. I'm very, very excited about it. And I was on schedule despite having like a bit of travel things kind of shift things around me. But I was on schedule, really ahead of schedule because I finished kind of 2 days early. And I'm just super excited to be done the book. It still hasn't quite hit me yet that I've like finished another book. I think this is my 11th book I've ever written. Perhaps, maybe, I can't remember anymore. Because not every book that I've written becomes published. So yeah, but I'm just really, really happy. Even though I know it got messy towards the end, I feel like I'm overall very pleased with how the story came together. I feel like for the most part, it's doing all the things that I wanted it to do. I feel like it is even more fast-paced maybe than the first book. And the first book, like there's a little bit of setup time, but like once you get into it, it gets into it. But I think because this has like so many fights, it feels like so much more fast-paced. It is also giving me all of the like anime feels that I like to get from this book series. Like it is like, to me, this book series is like very like shonen anime inspired. Like that's why I have so many like fights and action scenes and things like that, with like, yeah, with a dark academia like lens over it, which I think is great. But I do think they need more study things. I feel like they should talk more about school. I don't think I've done a lot of talking about school yet, and so that's something I'll also have to edit in. But I'm just really pleased with the base that I have, and so yeah, that is the end of this every weekday TikTok series. I shan't be doing this again because it was a lot of work. I really underestimated the amount of work it was. But I wanted to do like something that was like more casual conversational on TikTok versus my like very polished kind of content I have on there. But yeah, if you want to see more of my writing journey, I know for those of you that are watching the compilation on YouTube, you are already locked into this. But for TikTok people, I do on YouTube, I post twice a month, and every month I post a writing vlog where I basically talk about the projects and the stuff that I'm working on and like share a little bit of my life, etc., all that sort of thing. I also have just like a ton of whatever writing, publishing videos there talking about my experiences, so on and so forth. So yeah, if you want to see more, I would definitely recommend checking me out on YouTube because I'm very consistent on there with my twice a month. And yeah, just like if you've stuck it out for this entire series, thank you so much for following me along this drafting journey. I know it's been a long one. So yeah, if you've stuck it out this long, that's amazing. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy kind of following along with my writing journey. And I hope that you will be here when A Mastery of Monsters releases next summer, and you get to at least read the first book. um, as part of this journey, and like maybe that'll give a little bit more like clarity to everything I've talked about here. But yeah, I will not ramble on any longer. I'm gonna go and enjoy my time off, and yeah, and I won't see you tomorrow, but thank you so much for joining me.